You might think your dog's odd little habits are nothing more than random acts, small quirks, nothing else. But what if I told you that every time they lean into you, follow you from room to room, or press their body against you at night, they're speaking a language you were never taught to hear? Dogs don't speak in words, but in emotion, in loyalty, empathy, and quiet love. Every sigh, every glance, every gentle touch is a sentence written in a language older than words. And today, we'll learn how to listen to the simple, silent language that can change the way you see your dog forever. But before we can truly understand what they're trying to say, we need to start with the first and most overlooked message of all. 1. When they lean into you. When your dog leans into you, most people assume it's just a cute moment. Maybe they want attention. Maybe they're being clingy. But what if that simple touch meant something far deeper? What if it was their way of saying, "I trust you with my life"? Scientists have discovered that when a dog presses its body against a human, both experience a surge of oxytocin, the same hormone that bonds mothers to their children. In a 2023 study published in Frontiers in Psychology, researchers found that this contact lowers blood pressure, slows heart rate, and creates a powerful feedback loop of calm between the two. Now, think about it. Dogs in the wild huddle for warmth, for safety, for belonging. So when your old boy leans his weight into your leg after a long day, he isn't just resting, he's anchoring. He's saying, "The world feels steady here." And here's the part that most people miss: dogs don't lean on those they don't trust. That's why rescue soldiers, even firefighters who've seen too much, often say their dogs feel them before anyone else does. They don't ask questions. They simply lean in, absorbing your silence, steadying your storm. And if you've ever wondered why that quiet moment feels heavier than words, stay with me. Because what they do next when they follow you from room to room will show you just how deep that trust really runs. 2. When they follow you from room to room. You've felt it, that soft rhythm of paws behind you no matter where you go. You stand up to grab a glass of water, and there they are trotting close enough to brush against your leg. It can feel sweet, or maybe a little strange. But this behavior isn't about neediness. It's about belonging. For a dog, movement means survival. In every pack, the alpha leads, and the others follow, not out of obedience, but out of trust. When your dog shadows you from the kitchen to the porch, they're not checking up on you. They're syncing their heartbeat to yours. A study from the University of Helsinki in 2022 found that dogs can sense subtle changes in human cortisol levels, adjusting their behavior in response. When you move, they move. When you stop, they wait. But here's the part that most owners miss: following isn't about dependence, it's about protection. To them, you are the center of their world, the heartbeat they measure safety by. For older dogs especially, those who've watched you through loss or loneliness, that quiet presence is their way of saying, "If you go, I go too." Some men tell me their dogs won't even let them shower in peace. A retired truck driver once said, "She sits outside the bathroom door every night. Guess she's guarding me from the towel rack." He laughed, but his eyes softened. Because deep down, he knew she wasn't guarding the room, she was guarding the space where he wasn't. And if you think following is the deepest form of devotion, wait until you see what happens when the lights go out, and they choose to press against you in sleep. That's when love turns into something even older, even quieter. 3. When they sleep, pressed against you. Night falls, and everything slows down. The house grows quiet. The world fades. And then you feel it. The gentle weight of your dog pressed against your leg, your back, or even your chest. You shift a little, thinking they just want warmth. But that's not it. What's really happening is something older than speech, older than trust itself. In the wild, sleeping alone meant danger. Wolves rested shoulder to shoulder so they could feel each other breathe safety written in rhythm. Your dog carries that same instinct in their bones. A study from Scientific Reports in 2020 found that dogs who slept near their owners showed lower levels of cortisol, the stress hormone, and displayed steadier heart rates during rest. To them, closeness isn't comfort, it's survival. But here's what most people never realize: when your dog presses against you at night, they're not just asking to feel safe. They're offering it. They're saying, "You can rest now. I've got you." And that's especially true for older dogs or rescues. They remember nights when they didn't belong to anyone, when the dark meant fear instead of peace. So now, when they curl into you, they're not just sleeping, they're healing. One veteran once told me, "My dog sleeps with his back to me, always facing the door. Guess one of us has to keep watch." He said it with a half smile. But that's the truth. When your dog sleeps against you, it's not just love. It's loyalty with a heartbeat. And yet, there's another message hidden in their silence, one that doesn't come from touch, but from the eyes that hold yours a little longer than you expect. 4. When they gaze into your eyes. It usually happens when you're not even thinking about it. You look up from your coffee or the TV, or just the silence of the room, and there they are watching you. Not barking, not begging, not moving, just watching. And for a second you wonder, what are they thinking? Most people brush it off as random curiosity. But that steady gaze isn't about watching you, it's about feeling you. In 2015, researchers at Audible University in Japan discovered that when a dog holds eye contact with their human, oxytocin levels spike in both the same chemical that bonds mothers to newborns. It's what turns two separate beings into a single rhythm. That's why it feels like more than just looking. It's connection. It's an unspoken, "I know you." And the older your dog gets, the longer that look lasts. Because with time, they learn to read every version of you: the strong one, the tired one, the quiet one, who just needs to sit and breathe. One retired firefighter told me, "Sometimes I wake up from an old dream, and she's already watching me. Not scared, not restless. Just there. Like she's checking if I made it back." That's not ownership. That's empathy. And here's something even more extraordinary: in people with PTSD or chronic loneliness, dogs instinctively use that gaze to calm and regulate breathing. They see the storm before it breaks. They stay until you find your footing again. So next time you catch their eyes and feel that stillness, don't look away. Because what comes next? The sound that follows that silence, that long, deep sigh beside you. It's not boredom. It's relief, trust, and something almost human. 5. When they sigh beside you. That sound, you've heard it 1,000 times. You sit down after a long day. Maybe the TV hums softly. Maybe it's just quiet. And beside you, your dog lets out that long, slow sigh. Not a groan, not a whine, just air leaving the chest, gentle and deep. Most people ignore it. But if you really listen, that sigh says more than words ever could. In 2018, a study published in Behavioral Processes found that dogs sigh most often when they reach a state of emotional release, not exhaustion, not boredom, but contentment. It's their way of saying, "We're okay now." In that moment, their breathing syncs with yours. Your stress fades, their heartbeat steadies. It's not magic, it's biology. Both of you are sharing one nervous system, one piece. But here's the part that will catch you off guard: dogs often sigh because they've read you first. They feel your mood before you speak it. In 2021, researchers at the University of Vienna confirmed that dogs can detect microchanges in human scent that correspond to emotions like fear, sadness, and calm. So that sigh beside you, it might just be their way of saying, I felt your storm, and it's over now. A retired truck driver once told me, when I finally sit down, old Max lies at my feet and exhales, like he's been carrying the whole day too. Maybe he has. Maybe he's been holding everything you didn't say. And that's the beauty of it. They don't need to fix it. They just breathe it out for you. But the way they release tension doesn't always come through sound. Sometimes it's movement, a sudden shake that resets their world. And maybe yours too. 6. When they shake themselves. You've seen it, that sudden full-body shake that makes their ears flap and their fur ripple. No water, no mud, no reason you can see. 1 second, they're still, the next, they're shaking like they're trying to throw something invisible off their back. Most people laugh it off, but that shake isn't random. It's emotional housekeeping. In 2020, researchers at the University of British Columbia found that dogs shake to reset their nervous system after emotional spikes, excitement, stress, or sudden change. It's their version of taking a deep breath, of saying, I'm back. A physical reboot. After being scolded, hugged too tight, or startled by a noise, they'll shake. Not because they're wet, because they're letting go. But here's the fascinating part. Dogs sometimes shake after you do. If you've had a tense moment, a raised voice, or even a sigh that carries a little sadness, they'll sense it. Then quietly, they'll stand, give one of those long, deliberate shakes, and lie back down. It's empathy in motion, their way of diffusing the tension in the room without a sound. One Vietnam veteran once told me, when I wake from a nightmare, Duke gets up, shakes hard, and goes back to sleep. Like he's shaking it off for both of us. He didn't smile when he said it. He didn't have to. Because that's what dogs do. They feel the heaviness we don't say out loud, and then they shake it loose. And if you think that moment ends there, it doesn't. Because sometimes, instead of shaking something off, they do the opposite. They bury themselves into you. And when they do, it's not just comfort they're looking for. It's shelter. 7. When they bury their head into you. You know that moment you're sitting on the couch, maybe lost in thought, maybe just breathing, and suddenly your dog pushes their head into your chest or tucks it under your arm. No sound, no demand, just quiet pressure. It's easy to think they're being cute, maybe a little needy. But that movement, that slow burrow, is one of the most vulnerable gestures a dog can give. In 2019, researchers from Frontiers in Psychology discovered that when dogs press their heads or bodies into their owners, oxytocin and dopamine both rise sharply, not just in the dog, but in the person too. It's a biological feedback loop of safety. For them, burying their head isn't hiding, it's grounding. They're saying, let me feel your calm. But here's where it gets even more powerful. Dogs often do this when you are overwhelmed. When grief, loss, or fatigue hangs heavy in the air, they can smell it. A 2022 study at Queen's University Belfast showed that dogs can detect stress through subtle changes in human sweat and breath. So when your dog presses close, they're not seeking comfort, they're giving it. A retired firefighter told me once, after my wife passed, my dog used to shove his head right under my arm every night. Like he was trying to crawl inside my heartbeat. He wasn't running from pain, he was answering it. And the truth is, dogs don't just hide in you. Sometimes they face the world for you. Because when they sit with their back turned, eyes fixed on the door, they're not ignoring you. They're standing guard in the only language they know. 8. When they sit, facing away from you. At first, it almost feels rude. You're sitting there, maybe petting them, talking to them softly, and then, without warning, they shift. Their back turns toward you, their eyes scan the room, and you're left wondering, did I do something wrong? But that small, silent move isn't rejection. It's protection. In the wild, wolves rest in formation. The leader stays in the center, while others take the outer edge, watching the shadows. It's instinct coded into bone, the art of guarding what matters. Your dog carries that same blueprint. When they sit facing away from you, they're not leaving the conversation. They're taking watch so you don't have to. A 2021 study from Applied Animal Behavior Science found that dogs show increased alertness and postural changes when their owners exhibit calmness, not stress. In other words, when you relax, they switch into sentinel mode. They're saying, "Rest. I've got your back." Literally. One retired soldier told me, "Every night my shepherd sits by the front door until I turn the lights off. He won't move until I do." That's how he says goodnight. He doesn't need words. His loyalty is written in silence and posture. And if you look closer, you'll notice something else when they're sitting. That way their ears stay half-turned toward you. Even while watching the door, they're still listening for your breath. They're present in two worlds at once, yours and the one that might threaten it. So the next time they turn their back, don't call them stubborn. Let them guard. Because soon enough, they'll turn around again, tilt their head just slightly, and that tiny tilt will tell you more than words ever could. 9. When they tilt their head. You've seen it, that famous tilt. You say their name or ask a question, and suddenly the head leans to one side, ears perked, eyes locked on yours. It's so endearing that people melt when they see it. But here's the thing, that small crooked angle isn't just cute. It's communication. For years, scientists debated why dogs do this. Then, in 2021, a team from Animal Cognition finally found a clue. They discovered that dogs tilt their heads most often when they're trying to process familiar words, especially ones tied to emotional meaning like walk toy or good boy. That means the tilt isn't confusion, it's concentration. They're not just hearing your words, they're listening for your heart. But here's where it gets deeper. Head tilting also improves a dog's ability to read your facial expression. Because of their muzzle, the tilt lets them see you better, aligning both eyes with your face. It's as if they're trying to piece together your emotions, decoding you the way you've been trying to decode them. A retired truck driver told me once, "When I talk to Maggie, she tilts her head like she's judging my grammar. But if I sound sad, she stops. No tilt, just stares." That's empathy in real time. She wasn't analyzing words anymore. She was feeling the silence between them. So the next time your dog tilts that head, don't rush past it. You're not watching confusion, you're witnessing understanding. Because the more they know your voice, the less they need to hear it. And sometimes they skip the listening altogether and reach out quite literally with their paw. 10. When they put their paw on you. It happens quietly. You're sitting there, maybe reading, maybe thinking, maybe lost somewhere far away, and you feel it. A paw. Soft, steady, resting gently on your arm or your leg. No bark, no demand, just presence. Most people think it's begging, but it's not. It's something far more intimate. In 2023, researchers from Applied Animal Behavior Science found that dogs use gentle paw contact as a form of tactile communication, not manipulation. It's their way of bridging the gap between your world and theirs. When they sense a shift in your breathing or tone, they reach out, not to take, but to give. That single paw says, "I'm here. You don't have to be alone in this moment." Touch is the oldest language on earth. For dogs, it's sacred. A study from the Journal of Veterinary Behavior revealed that physical contact between dogs and their owners increases serotonin levels in both lowering stress and deepening emotional regulation. That means when your dog rests their paw on you, they're not asking for attention, they're grounding you the same way a hand on the shoulder steadies an old friend. A 68-year-old veteran once told me, "When the nightmares hit, Duke puts his paw right on my chest. Doesn't move, just waits until my breathing slows." That's not coincidence, that's connection. And maybe that's the secret to why dogs stay so close for so long. They don't just sense emotion, they hold it for us. But even that quiet gesture, that steady paw, is only one piece of the story. Because sometimes love doesn't touch or look or lean. It just breathes beside you and sighs. 11. When they breathe beside you, listen closely. Not to the TV, not to the ticking clock, but to the sound right next to you. That steady rhythm, the rise and fall of your dog's chest, the quiet hum of a creature at peace. You might think it's just breathing, but it's more than that. It's a language older than sound itself. Scientists call it entrainment, the way two living beings begin to synchronize their breathing and heartbeat when they feel safe together. A 2020 study in Frontiers in Psychology found that when dogs rested near their owners, both heart rates aligned, creating what researchers described as a physiological signature of trust. It's not magic, it's biology, meeting devotion. But here's what's even more incredible. Dogs often adjust their breathing to match yours. When you're anxious, their rhythm quickens. When you finally exhale, when you release the day they release too. It's their way of saying, "We're okay now. You can let go." That's why lonely rooms don't feel empty when a dog is in them. Their quiet breath fills the space like a heartbeat that refuses to leave you behind. One retired firefighter once told me, "After the siren stopped, I couldn't sleep. My lab would just lie by my chair and breathe." That sound was the first peace I'd heard in years. That's not coincidence, that's companionship at its purest form. So the next time you hear that slow, steady breathing beside you, don't take it for granted. That's not just a dog resting. That's love, alive and audible. And when the day comes that silence finally falls, you'll realize that sound was never background noise. It was your reminder that you were never alone. If you've made it this far, maybe you've started to see it, the truth that was there all along. Every lean, every sigh, every quiet touch wasn't just a habit. It was a sentence, a story, a lifetime of loyalty told in silence. Dogs don't need to say, "I love you." They live it. They breathe it beside us. They carry our storms, our grief, our laughter, and never ask for anything in return. That's why they stay long after the world has stopped listening. Because to them, you are home, the safe place, the reason their tail still moves when everything else stands still. So tonight, when your dog settles next to you and the room grows quiet, try something new. Don't speak. Don't move. Just listen. To the breath. To the warmth. To the wordless promise that's been there from the very beginning, "I'm here. I love you." If this story helped you see your dog with new eyes, stay with us. Subscribe, share your story below, and join a community that believes every heartbeat, every sigh, every silent moment with a dog is a love story worth hearing.